Sunny.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rox. And this is
Literature on the Rocks.
I think that was the best one yet.
That was amazing.
It's the best one yet.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thanks. I can't wait to do that every week with you guys.
Oh, God. I promise I'll nail it.
You get there.
I will get there.
You're just a little out of practice.
You know, it happens.
It's okay.
It's because we're not doing it every week.
Right. This isn't our full-time gig.
Yet.
Wow.
Welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
What's going on?
What up?
What it do?
What's new with you guys this week?
For me, I've been trying to speak Spanish at home. Let me tell you how awful my Spanish is. It is not good. The intention is to teach her how to speak Spanish, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know how good she's going to learn her Spanish with me looking up words every 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, baby, la da 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 in Spanish. How do I say that word? Damn it. I'm like, look it up. Anyways, let's try this again. And then I like repeat the sentence. But, you know, it's brushing up on my Spanish.
Yeah, you're
There you
learning
go.
it.
Hopefully we'll brush up on her Spanish.
My kid can kind of understand it because my in-laws speak to him all the time in Spanish. He doesn't speak any Spanish. I mean, he says agua, but
Yeah.
that's about it. He doesn't really know Spanish. And I think my husband speaks Spanish, but he does not speak Spanish in the home at all. And I get so frustrated that I'm the person who doesn't know Spanish and I'm like, throw this away in the basura.
Hey, some words are better than no words at all.
Well, I'm trying, all right?
Yeah.
He knows basura and agua.
She's very interested in Vietnamese and Japanese, though.
Oh, get it, girl.
I think that's kind of cool. I mean, not that you could teach her and speak to her fluently in it, but
There is a version of Duolingo for kids that does other languages.
oh.
So we tried to get her to do Spanish, and she was very uninterested. And then I started doing Japanese on my Duolingo because I'm tired of doing the Spanish ones.
Yeah.
It's just dos manzanas. I'm like, yeah, bitch, I know. Like 2 fucking apples. Great.
That means 2 apples. I knew that. I knew that.
Way to go, Sunny.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, are you guys watching anything new? Because I have been binge watching Worst Ex Ever and Worst Neighbor Ever. Or no, Worst Roommate Ever.
No, I haven't watched it. I've heard of it.
A little bit about me, everyone. I'm really into murder.
Oh,
No, true crime. I'm into true crime, right? I listen
who
to
isn't?
My Favorite Murder. I feel like there are people out there who aren't into it.
Really?
Yeah.
Those
men.
are the
It's the men.
psychopaths of the world.
They're like, I hate everything about murder except for doing it.
Yeah. Well,
He said the psychopaths of the world.
those are the ones that don't like murder. I'm just saying.
Maybe.
They're disgusted at themselves when they perform it.
These hands.
God, I can't with you two. Me.
On to happier things. Let's talk about little secrets.
I don't know if
It's
I would
not
say
happy, you guys.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what I think we should start with before we dive into the book? Our disclaimers or trigger warnings. That's what I meant.
This book is full of them.
Lots of them.
Suicide,
Kidnapping.
Grief,
child abduction,
infidelity.
Yeah,
adulterous
revenge.
whores, toxic exes.
Yes. All
Seriously,
of those things.
like the most toxic. Your worst ex ever? This book right here is the worst ex ever. So yes, and moving forward, we will be discussing spoilers. So we'll give, I think Rox, you're going to give us a summary. We won't have spoilers in the summary, but after the summary, we'll dive in and there will be spoilers.
This week's book is Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier.
Yes.
And Rox is going to tell us a little bit about Miss Jennifer.
Jennifer Hillier is a Canadian author. I did not know this. And she writes psychological thriller books, all of which have been translated into 23 languages, which I
Oh.
thought is kind of cool. She writes psychological thriller books.
This is her jam.
Yes, this is what she does. And she describes her writing as imagining the worst about people and then writing about it.
I could totally see that.
So I feel like her and I would be best friends.
You would be, is that what you do, Rox?
No, but I just, think about it sometimes.
Are we not good enough friends for you?
What do you
I
think
don't
I'm
want
gonna do
new
to you?
friends. I'm just saying Jennifer and I would be friends
All right.
because of, I like the murder stuff. Anyways, going on.
I'm a possessive friend, so Jennifer, if I ever see you. I'm just kidding.
We'd love to have you, Jennifer.
Tell us your ways. Anyways, she was born and raised and now lives in Toronto. She's married and has a son. Her first book was published in 2011, which was titled Creep. Her most recent book is titled Wonderland, and that was published in 2023. Little Secrets is somewhere in the middle there.
Okay.
She mentioned in her Jennifer Hillier website that she hopes to have a new novel released in 2024. So that is just a little bit about Jennifer Hillier.
That's great. Tell us a little bit about
The book.
Little Secrets. Yeah, give us a
Yeah.
summary,
The
Rox.
book. Little Secrets. We have Marin Machos. Her world is completely just flipped upside down when her young son goes missing during a holiday shopping trip. As she struggles with the aftermath of his disappearance and the impact that this had on her marriage, she discovers secrets about her husband. Marin's pursuit for answers leads her into a web of lies and moral dilemmas. The novel explores themes of grief, betrayal, and the lengths one might go in pursuit of justice. As tensions rise and the search for truth intensifies, Marin has to confront her own choices and their consequences. No spoilers.
No spoilers. That was a beautiful, well-written summary.
10 out of 10.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You're a scholar.
You know.
Wait to hear the rest of your summaries for the rest of our lives.
Oh,
Exactly. The next 40 plus years.
you're never getting rid of me.
40 plus years, a lot of years.
It is.
Can we podcast till we're like 90? Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
I won't be 90 in 40 years, Rox.
I'm just thinking when we're 90, not we will be 90 in 40 years.
All right. Well, when we're 90, we'll still be.
We'll be podcasting. Did you read that smutty book?
I don't know about you guys, but I'm still going to sound like this.
Oh,
Wow.
Only time will tell.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the drink. We put into ChatGPT that we wanted something. Actually, it took us a few tries.
Yes.
We all kind of put in what we thought it should be. Obviously, we want these drinks to taste good. A little bit about the drink. And kind of the book too. The first chapter was very hard to get through. And so we really wanted a drink that was hard to get through at first. It was strong. And then it ended a little bit. I wouldn't say the ending is sweet in the book.
It's better than the beginning.
It's better than the beginning. And secrets are revealed. So we're calling this
The truth bomb.
the truth bomb. So we're going to do actually a cup with a shot. We're going to drop the shot into the cup and sip because we want to enjoy this drink, but you're welcome to shoot it. So what this has in it, there's two parts to it. Like I said, there's the shot and there's mixer. The big cup is going to have lemonade, blue curacao, elderflower liqueur. The shot is going to be Campari and vodka. So when I sent this to my brother, who's a mixologist, he basically said the shot is going to be bitter, but you have a really sweet drink that you're dropping into, so it might balance itself out. So it's not going to be overly sweet, but it shouldn't also be.
Which is very much aligned with the book.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
doesn't end with sunshines and rainbows,
Right.
but the world didn't collapse. So
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to go get us our drink.
I will say that I mispronounced her last name, the main character, Marin, the entire time I read the book.
What did you?
I was reading it as Machado.
I did too at first.
And I realized now, once you said macho, that there's no D. It's macho.
Yeah, Marin Macho.
But I was reading it as Machado and thinking Derek's not a very Hispanic name. Like,
It's really cool that it's a different color on top.
The shot glasses we used were probably a little too tall because I feel like it should have.
blended.
Yes.
Maybe we should swirl it.
It's well, I thought the point was for it to be bitter.
shot?
Yeah, but we're not shooting it.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, here we go.
All right, let's taste this.
Moment o' truth.
The truth bomb it's telling.
All
I
right.
think this drink, it embodies the book. It was super bitter. And now that it's all mixed in, it's better.
Okay. all
It's
right.
not great.
It's not, but I feel like it does fit the book very well.
It does.
All right. Well, I'm into it. I like this drink.
But hopefully everybody has now mixed their drinks and you can listen along with us
Yes, ma'am.
as we get into this little secrets.
Chumpy number 1.
For this book, it's a little different because Actually, I don't know. Did you have a hard time reading chapter 1?
Because of the content?
Yes.
I'm a psychopath. No, I did not.
So I had to stop.
Did you have when you started reading it? You didn't have.
No, you were still pregnant.
Yeah, I think you were still pregnant.
I was still pregnant. Correct. However, well, this would be another book that I get two perspectives on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't have a hard time reading it.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if you would yet. I think, okay, so let's get into it and just talk about it a little bit. So the book opens with Marin Macho and her 4-year-old son, Sebastian, in Pike Place. They are shopping. It's Christmas time. She's looking for the last of her Christmas gifts. She's running around Pike Place holding her 4-year-old son, Sebastian's hand. He keeps asking about a lollipop from a candy store that's there. It's his favorite. It's one of those big spirally ones. I think going into this book, I knew he was getting kidnapped, right? It's in like the summary that
Yes, and it's a trigger warning that there's child kidnapping.
when you're reading about
Child
like, do I
abduction.
want to read this book? And you look into it a little bit, in the first chapter, you know he's getting kidnapped. So every twist and turn, it talks about Marin being on her phone, Marin letting go of his hand or being conscious of not letting go of his hand. And then Marin does let go of Sebastian's hand to answer a call from Sal Palermo. She answers it, and then Derek calls right after. Derek is her husband, talking about dinner plans. And when she looks down, Sebastian is gone and nowhere in sight. Just reading, even the start of it, this is when this kid's going to get kidnapped. As a person who has a 3-year-old son, it gave me so much anxiety. I had to keep stopping. And the majority of when I'm reading, I'm putting him to sleep. So I'm laying in bed next to him, rubbing his back, reading a book about this 4-year-old boy getting kidnapped and knowing it's coming. And I had to stop. I couldn't. I kept crying and then would look at me like, what's wrong, mommy? I'm like, nothing, baby. Just come closer.
Just hold my hand.
The first chapter was rough to get through. Every time she started talking about anything, this is the moment. This is the moment. It's going to happen now. So eventually, when she looks down, Sebastian's gone, nowhere in sight, and she ends up telling Derek that she's lost Sebastian. She starts calling for him, and I want to take a moment to talk about, one, if you lose your child in a public space, it is not embarrassing. Be loud. She is not screaming. She's not doing the things that I feel like you should be doing. And I don't know if that's because people don't know what they should be doing. You shouldn't be screaming his name because that doesn't help people find him. You should be screaming what he's wearing, what he looks like immediately, and grab anybody that you can to help you find him. Don't do it quietly. Don't panic silently. It's not something you're judged for. I mean, people are crappy, so you're going to be judged for everything, but it doesn't make you a bad parent.
It's better to be judged and be a crappy parent and have your kid at the end of the day.
Yes. Yes.
Although I think that the difficult thing throughout this whole is that you don't know how you're going to react in a moment of panic.
Right. Like even in the book, she mentions they're stopping, offering help, and asking for a description of the little boy who's wandered away from his mother. But if you are immediately loud, just screaming, blue shirt, black pants, brown hair, brown eyes, goes by Sebastian.
Yeah.
I feel people don't have to stop and ask you. You don't have to give descriptions to people. You're just screaming for him. And you can continue to yell for his name, but they don't need to know that. They're not going to come to a stranger with... Like, the kid's not going to come to a stranger. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a horrible situation.
Yeah.
What a horrible situation she's put into.
And I think
Makes me
all
wanna
of the
cry just
parts
talking about it.
that led up to it where she was like, I'm so frustrated. I just need to finish. All of those hit home because when you're doing these last minute things or you're running around and you're already on zero and you have a little one who's right next to you crying or being fussy and okay, I just got to get through these next 10 minutes and you're doing all these extra things, sometimes you do let go of their hand.
If I'm in a store and I need to now grab a birthday present until I've got to pick one up off the top shelf, now I've got to let go of his hand. For sure, I'm letting go of his hand. It's a totally...
Well, yeah, you can't glue them to you.
Yeah.
As much as you want to.
As much as you want to. Seriously.
But reading through it, you definitely feel the chaos.
Yes.
You can feel the frustration. I don't have a 4-year-old. I have a 10-week-old, but I can feel the frustration of trying to do something and you have this screaming child.
Yeah.
Jennifer does a great job of highlighting how chaotic that experience is because you do feel it.
For sure.
I wasn't thinking of the real life feeling of losing my child, but I was feeling the chaos that she was experiencing.
I was
Yeah.
because I saw myself in that situation, and so I had to keep stopping. I think that was the longest chapter I've ever, like the longest time I've ever
Yeah.
taken to read a single chapter.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get through
Because I
just chapter 1.
You and I even talked. I don't know if I can read the rest of this book.
I have a note in here that says, "This is ruining me. I don't know why I thought I could read this book."
Yeah, I didn't know if I could finish it.
In
I
chapter
think
1.
I watched too many things to know that this is just a book.
I mean, I knew it was just a book, but it was
hit
her
home.
writing was
Yeah.
it hit home.
Yeah.
And it was very real. So at the end of chapter 1, we find out, right, she looked down, Sebastian's gone, nowhere in sight. She notifies Derek, which he comes up and blames her for it.
Yeah.
He actually, his first words when he walks up is, "What did you do?" Which
Immediately, I don't like him.
immediately I'm upset with him. They contact security and the police when they can't find him, and they find a video of Sebastian leaving the market with a person dressed as Santa with the lollipop in his hand. What like a person that we have taught our kids to go to. It's okay that it's a stranger. You're going to ask him for what you want for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it made me think. My youngest is scared of Santa and doesn't like taking pictures. We were like, it's okay. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? It's fine.
Yeah, probably
Hate
okay.
Santa. That's cool. We don't need to like him.
We don't.
There is no Santa. It's
Let's
a
not
lie.
talk about how he comes into our house in the middle of the night when
Yeah.
we're all sleeping.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah. In
What are we
fact, run
teaching
to
our
him.
kids?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. But the other part of me is the traditional, but I really want him to love Santa. It's definitely a conflict now. I want you to be aware that this is still a stranger. As long as mommy sees you going to them and tells you it's okay. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Definitely some things to think about.
yeah. There's like a story that was on social media for a little while about how Santa is real, but he lives, he lives in us. Like we are the embodiment of what Santa is about, which is blessing people with gifts, which sounds crazy. The more I talk about it, it was well written on social media, but basically they started teaching their kid, now you get to be Santa to someone every year. Who do you want to choose to be Santa to? And they would
that's
like
cute.
pick a gift and drop it off at whoever the kid was that they picked to be Santa to that. I thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah, that's cute.
So Santa's not real, but also kind of.
Also, if your kids are around and you'd want them to know that Santa's real.
Don't listen to the
I was
last
like,
listen to
your
this
kids
podcast.
shouldn't be listening to us. I cuss like a sailor. You children should not. These are adult books. This is not story time.
Yeah, wait till our next book. We definitely don't want the kids around for that one.
So musical, you two.
Okay, so we have a terrifying chapter 1, and then we jump into chapters 2 through 7, which is the first half of part 1. And it starts 15 months after the kidnapping. So 15 months later, Sebastian is still missing. Marin she's kind of been living in a daze for the last year and a half. Every day she thinks to herself, is this the day I kill myself? This is the day I finally do it. And she's getting pushback from her therapist and her husband. You really need to start doing normal things. Your salon business is, because her and her husband are both successful in Seattle. I don't remember what the husband does.
He's some kind of businessman,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what type of
He's
business.
a higher end, wealthy to do. And she runs a chain of hair salons with very high end clientele.
Celebrities and such.
Yeah. She attempts to go back to work. She also is part of a support group for parents of missing children, which she attends weekly. And Derek refuses to go to support groups. He refuses to talk about Sebastian. He and her are distant because she's still in pain and suffering, and he does not share that. He does not want to talk about it.
Which, can I just say really quick, as we're going through this, as I'm reading this, I was thinking to myself, how would I have coped with something like this, right? And I feel that I would have probably coped in a very similar way.
Yeah.
Me too.
I would have been very dazed half the time. I probably wouldn't have been very interactive with people. Although I feel like he kind of castrates her for being in a daze this whole time. He's not happy about it, right? Like, I'm not going to go to that. We need to go back and live our lives and go back around to what we were doing before. Again, adds to the fact that I was pissed at him from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Again, very relatable. I probably would have done the same thing. I would have coped in a very similar way.
Yeah, she writes, this means she's had 485 evenings where she hasn't bathed her son, put him, I might cry. I'm just reading it. I'm getting emotional. Put him in clean pajamas, tucked him into bed, and read him Goodnight Moon. She's had 485 mornings of waking up to a quiet house devoid of laughter and stomping feet and no calls of mommy wipe emanating from the hallway bathroom. Because while he was fully potty trained, he was only 4, still learning how to handle his own basic hygiene. 485 days of this nightmare. And I like that.
I would have counted down.
That's me. I'm crying about it, reading it. And for sure, I would be counting the days, all the things that I'm missing, all the things that I was frustrated about when he was around now being gone.
And then you think about, like, is there any other way to cope with something like this?
And I think she's blaming herself, and I would do that
I
too.
would
Yeah.
1,000%.
I let go of his hand.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
my fault.
Yes.
Plus, when my husband walked up and said, "What did you do?" it would just add to that.
Yeah, like he knows I did it. I know I did it. Like it's my
Yeah.
fault he's gone. I made him love Santa.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Yes. And then you question all of the things that you're doing as a parent because Santa was a good guy.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
He was
stole the
supposed
baby.
to be
He
a good
stole
guy.
Sebastian. He wasn't a good guy.
He was supposed to be.
And then her support group isn't much better because all of them are doing the same. Like they basically go there to be miserable together.
Yeah.
And all of them have some form of failing marriage or their life's kind of taken a hard turn, similar to Marin's. Like a lot of, I think at some point it says in there that she knows mentally that she needs to be normal. She needs to move on. But she feels like if she does that, then it means he's gone.
She's forgotten
Like,
about him.
He's
She's
done.
giving up hope. She's
Yeah.
no longer in the trenches searching for him.
Yeah, that he's lost forever now. And then we find that Marin has hired secretly a PI, Vanessa Castro. Derek doesn't know about it. Castro calls Marin to her office for new information about Sebastian. She gets freaked out. She's like, okay, this is the day. Like they found his body. They found something like,
Yeah, because it's one of the first times that she's reached out. That wasn't a scheduled thing.
and she wouldn't tell her over the phone.
Yes.
She's like, you need to come to the office.
So here I am in a panic reading this, like, oh God, she found the son. Oh God.
Yeah, she found something.
This was the moment where I thought, oh no, I don't know if I want to hear that he didn't come home. He's not coming home.
And I didn't write it in here, but she is going on to the dark web. She's on child selling websites on the dark web.
Right.
Looking at these children trying to find Sebastian.
Yes, which one, torture. Why do that to yourself?
Right.
I think I might do that. I might do
If
that
I'm
too.
looking for him,
But then second, how do you get on the dark web? Because I wouldn't even need to know.
I
how
wouldn't
to
know
do
how
it.
to either.
I
but
would find out.
Don't Google it. But
I'm not going to. If you're that desperate, you find things
yeah,
out.
you find a way.
yeah, you find a way to do it, sure. But that's just glutton for punishment to be looking on this thing.
I don't know. I guess in her head, maybe she's gonna go Liam Neeson these people. Like she
I have
finds
a
him and then
particular
like
set of skills.
exactly, and go hunt him down. I could see she's just sitting there wallowing.
Yeah.
So she's trying to grasp onto something.
But there are
Anything
also, I
she
mean,
can
I
do.
know that maybe the police department at this far out isn't looking for that.
Probably not.
There are departments in the FBI maybe that are looking at the dark web and searching for things like that to red flag and look into. I know that because of Worst Roommate Ever.
Oh.
A roommate was buying some sort of disease to administer to her roommate to try and kill her off. And she only got busted because this department of the FBI is watching the dark web for things like that, saw someone in the States buying these illegal things. It was technically
like
biochemical warfare. Yeah. They needed to look into it and they discovered that she was buying it to kill off her roommate. So
Which, hold on, sorry, side note, also reminds me of this video that my sister-in-law sent me of, I can't even remember the guy, the actor. He's sister's friend, so just a long down the line. But anyways, went on this date with this guy. He picks her up, he takes her back to his place. They're back at the apartment and she gets like a weird vibe, but kind of just goes through with it anyways. And he's like, you know what? Let me just give you a massage, trying to get very sexual.
I think I've seen this. Yeah.
So the massage, and then they find out that the lotion was from the dark web and it was meant to break down your skin skin for human
Yes.
consumption.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But she got freaked out and left.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
And
she
he
only
let her
finds
go.
out because she goes to the doctor and they test it and find out that she's using this lotion that he was
Yeah.
going to eat her. And they found tons of bodies in that guy's apartment.
Yes, I did hear that. I did hear about that. It's so crazy.
I can't believe that there's people out there.
So
like this.
obviously, okay, so maybe not the best department to be finding these things. But again, a reason why I would potentially be on there looking.
Yeah, 100%.
They can't save everyone.
Yes,
Yeah.
And they're
of
not
course.
looking for everyone.
Which reminds me of The Sound of Freedom. Did you guys watch that movie?
No, I can't.
Oh.
No, because that came out, I think, when I was reading this book, and I asked someone at work what it was about, and I was like, no, that's not for me.
Child trafficking.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Oh.
It was a really good movie, but it is really sad.
Yeah, I don't think I can do that.
Oof.
Anyways.
But anyway, so she
Back
has
to
to
Little
go.
Back to more darkness.
She's got to go to Castro's office. She has zero info about Sebastian, but what she does have is evidence that Derek has been fucking around for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
With some 24-year-old girl.
Does she know she's
Little
24?
hussy.
She
Yeah.
finds out, right?
Yeah, she gives her all the info.
Harlot.
Harlot. So Marin is actually revitalized by her anger because she has felt nothing but absolute brokenness for the past 15 months. So now she's invigorated. Vanessa gives her a shadow app and tells her if she downloads it, she can track and see all of Derek's texts that come in, all of his messages on his phone.
Which, interestingly, at first she picks for only those text messages to come through for her to see. She doesn't shadow his entire phone the first time around.
No.
She only does something specific. And it really made me think she has...
Still trusting him.
Yeah, she still has this trust for him, but this adultery is giving her something new to focus on. So
Yeah,
just
because he
give me
cheated on her
this.
before. He
Oh, I don't
cheated on
remember
her when she was pregnant with Sebastian.
Oh, yeah.
So
Even
to her,
worse.
this is just, okay, I need to finally straighten up. It's time to refocus on my marriage and it's time to get this bitch gone.
Mm-hmm.
So she's tracking and finds his mistress, who's 24-year-old Mackenzie Lee. And
We immediately have thoughts of Mackenzie, I feel like. As soon as it, like, oh, Mackenzie.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds, she sounds like a Mackenzie.
yeah, Mackenzie.
Sorry,
sounds
anyone
like a
named
slut.
Mackenzie. Yeah.
I'm not. Just kidding. But she finds this girl and sees that she works in a coffee shop in, I think, like downtown Seattle. It's by his office. So she's disgusted. She's older. I think she's in her they're in their 40s.
I think so.
And she's got
Still
this,
young, really.
Yeah. But to be dating someone who's 20 years your junior, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Is it?
Why are you looking at me?
crazy. Yeah, it does definitely
don't
feel like
think-
a big age gap, but I don't know that I would. It depends on when you met each other.
If she was 16 and he was 36.
Yeah.
I still feel it would be weird. I mean, granted, we're not 40, but even 25 is more than 10 years away.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I feel like I could never date a 25-year-old.
Oh, no.
At 15?
No, right now. Like if I were to date somebody younger.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I would date 20 years up to. That's almost 60, maybe.
If
He
they're
was
rich,
rich.
maybe. I'm just kidding.
Which is
kidding.
exactly what Mackenzie's doing.
Yes.
Right? He's rich. And she,
Yes.
well, I mean, we'll get into that. Sorry, but
let's chump
but-
it up.
All I
Let's
know
trump it
is
up.
that stab me in the heart if my husband cheated on me with some young, hot, frilly girl because I'm 40
this goes
now.
back to that conversation of last book we had where, oh, he can't possibly love her like he used to.
Yes.
She's gained weight and her roots are showing. Love shouldn't be based on how we are looking at because it's going to go away.
Because
Looks are
Lord knows
going to
I'm
go
not
away.
the same size I was, or I've got some more gray hairs.
I don't have any grays. I can't speak to that. But more
I got some
pounds.
what the fuck creases between my eyes.
Yeah.
So, if he came around and he had some 22-year-old, I might stab him in the throat.
I would, yeah.
But-
well, actually, yeah.
I would want to. I think I would visualize it
Which
many
actually
times.
they talk about how she's so mad at Mackenzie. Mm-hmm. Right in
Yeah,
here.
that's what she focuses all instead of being mad at Derek and about him stepping outside of their marriage, she focuses and funnels all of her anger at Mackenzie. And she travels down to the coffee shop where she works to see her.
Yeah.
Because she looks her up, she sees her, she finds her Instagram because Mackenzie lives on Instagram.
Does she have like bright pink hair or something?
Yeah, she's got a crazy dye in her hair, a non-natural color.
Yeah.
And she recognized her behind the counter, and Mackenzie even compliments her engagement ring while they're like interacting very briefly. She's like, "You slimy bitch.
Yeah. Which while we were reading this, one thing I wanted to say was when we were reading this book, Rock sent a text that was only a couple chapters in, and already I've quoted Eminem multiple times. And so the next time I saw it, I highlighted it. Her palms are sweating, knees weak, arms are heavy.
I don't know why. I think it was the palms are sweaty when I read that.
So we end chapter 7, the first half of part 1, with Marin in the coffee shop just observing Mackenzie.
Yeah, like a weird creep
Yeah.
stalking her.
And then we jump into the second half of part 1, chapters 8 through 14.
Well, really quick, while she's there, I highlighted this part because I was really frustrated that she was so upset with Mackenzie. Your husband is the one who's breaking his vows. She says, Marin wants to jump up, grab the coffee pot, and throw it at her. She wants to hear the other woman scream in pain as a scalding liquid sears her pretty skin. She wants to claw at her hot, dripping face with her fingernails, scratching her eyes, tearing out her hair, so she can make her husband's mistress as ugly on the outside as she is on the inside. Now, Mackenzie's not innocent in this. However, she's not the one who made a promise to stay true forever.
Yeah. Yes, misguided frustration and anger for sure, but I get it.
Yeah.
I would want to claw that girl's eyes out too,
But I'd also want to claw his eyes out.
I would want to do something else.
Chop off his dick.
Yes, but I understand the
but
frustration.
She said too, I've lost everything else. I'm not going to lose my husband.
Yeah,
That is her
mentality.
Justification.
her shattered brain's way of coping. Like
Yeah.
this is now the next phase. Anger at Mackenzie.
Yeah, what the steps of grief, right? Now she's in anger
But she's placing it on
the wrong
Mackenzie.
person. Okay. I agree. All right. So then we go into the second half of part 1, chapters 8 through 14. Marin goes to Sal's bar, and in this exchange, they kind of talk about their relationship and they explain it. Basically, they dated during college, but they broke up and they've remained friends ever since, which I wasn't surprised by. Something inside me made me feel like this guy, there's more to their story other than just being college friends. You didn't think that?
I feel like they said it pretty quickly. No?
Well,
Is there a lot of
no.
time?
No, I don't.
I thought he was just still in love with her and was trying to get Derek to leave her.
Oh,
Or trying to get her to leave Derek. I thought he was just still in love with her.
interesting, because I didn't think that. I thought they probably had a history, but I didn't think that they still had this chemistry.
I don't think she did. Like as soon as they broke up, he was done. You're not it, done.
Yeah.
But he,
Yeah, because you learn that
Yeah.
she kind of moves on pretty quickly after they broke up
And marries Derek.
and marries Derek very quickly after. So Sal's just bitter, basically.
I think he's just
We don't know that yet. I mean, I guess there's a couple hints to it, right?
We learned a little bit about their history. They remained friends after they broke up. We learned that Sal's father owned a winery. Once Sal's dad died, Sal dropped out of school, purchased the bar that he is now working in, and spent some time in jail after dealing some drugs on the side.
he still deals drugs on the side.
Oh,
But
he
we don't
still
know
does
that.
it.
Do we know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so now he's dealing drugs
Yeah,
on the
he's
side.
like-
want to give any spoilers.
He's
This whole episode is a spoiler.
he deals with some unsavory people. Let's just say that.
Yes,
in
very
this
much
world that he's in.
Yes.
Marin tells Sal about Derek, and Sal offers a fixer that can handle the situation. Quote unquote fixer.
Yeah,
right?
fixer. Yeah.
So Marin proceeds to get drunk. She thinks that she should have Mackenzie killed, while Sal argues Derek is the real issue, which is what we've been saying this whole time.
Right. And I think he's going along with the fixer, thinking that she's agreeing to murder Derek, to have him assassinated.
Yes, because I think he thinks she wants Derek dead.
Yeah. And then she's
Yes.
like, yeah, I think I should go through with it with Mackenzie. And he's like, the fuck?
Yes. And does he know at this point that she's a 24-year-old young person? Because I want to say
Yes.
he tells her not to do it because of that.
No.
Yeah, he says, I highlighted it. The first step to fixing your problem is understanding what exactly your problem is, or in this case, who. This is all about the snake you married. If you want to kill anyone, kill him.
Right. And because she's tracking their texts on the Shadow app, while she was sitting in the coffee shop, Mackenzie sent
yes.
Derek a
nude.
nude selfie. And she saves it as her screensaver.
Oh, yeah.
Psychopath.
And then when she goes to the
Yeah.
bar, she shows Sal and was like,
Yes.
this is the bitch he's sleeping on me with for the past 6 months.
Yeah.
And he has zero reaction to it,
None.
except makes a comment about her shitty hair color.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you staring at this lady on your phone every time?
That's
you
her
want to see
anger. That's
that?
her fuel.
I wouldn't. I know.
She
but-
does make the comment that while sadness is alone and like withering, rage gets shit done.
Oh, that's right.
And I think that's why she puts the picture on her phone is to like keep that rage.
And it's her nude picture that she has as her
Still
wallpaper,
crazy.
isn't it
Yeah.
not?
And
Yes.
it's almost kind of like she wants Derek to see her
it?
phone and see her on there, and maybe an unconscious way of trying to resolve it without it coming to her going after Mackenzie all the way.
Well, it
Being
also,
a little passive aggressive.
Yes.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
that is a naked woman on my screen.
Well,
do
I
you
was gonna
know this
think-
bitch?
yeah.
I was gonna say that women, we tend to be very psychological warfare type women. Like that's what we do, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost like Rachel said, it's a tactic. I'm gonna put this girl's picture on my phone, and then I'm gonna wait for you to see it.
It's twofold.
Ask me about
Yeah.
it so that I can chop you up into itty bitty pieces.
the murder.
Or at least part of you into itty bitty pieces. Litty bitties.
I'm gonna chop you into litty bitties. So then, murder is not funny, by the way. It is in this context, but not in real life.
We're
Anyways.
making light of it. But yeah,
Disclaimer.
don't murder.
Yeah, we want to take a very public stance and say that we are against murder.
Moving on.
So she's up there getting drunk.
Yep, she gets drunk at Sal's bar. She tells him about what's going on, and Sal ends up driving her home because she's too drunk to drive, and they end up sleeping together, which not
It
surprised.
escalates so fast.
So fast. I don't know if I don't think she asks him to sleep with her. I think they go upstairs to her room, and then she sort of
does.
just pounces on him.
Yeah, like all of a sudden.
She just says, like, I need you
Yeah.
to stay.
Oh, yeah. And then he gives in all too quickly.
Yeah.
Because that's what he wants.
Yeah.
He loves
But
her.
he does make a comment. She's like, because he stops for a second. And she's like, what's wrong? Why'd you stop? He says, I can't. He says, not looking back at her, you're drunk, Marin, and your best friend, and you're my best friend. This isn't right. She notices he doesn't say, and you're married. Placing her hand on his arm. Sal, look at me. Whatever. And then they get freaky.
Which her actions also give him consent. So they sleep
She
together.
literally says, I consent.
Yes.
Do you need me to consent? Because I consent.
Yes.
I consent. I want this. I want you. It's like-
And then they do the dirty.
Yes.
They do the dirty.
They do the dirty.
And she wakes up to texts
It's
from
a
Derek.
low spice level dirty, by
Yeah.
the way.
Not
yeah.
smutty.
Very spicy at
Negative
all.
spice.
Negative spice.
It's like salt and pepper.
But he does tell her,
Little MSG. That's all it is.
Could have used some cayenne and some chili powder, but nothing. We got nothing.
I think I would have been disappointed if they made like an elaborate, dirty, hot sex scene with Sal, only to see what we know later.
You know what? I feel like it would have built up some character arcs, and I would have been so pissed later. But it would have given me the emotion.
it would have been the break I needed from all the.
You
Maybe.
know? Yes, agreed. You hear that,
Maybe
Jennifer?
he wasn't packing.
Oh, they do talk about it a little bit, I think. But
Do they?
Anyways,
yeah.
sorry,
Anyway,
carry
she wakes up from texts from Derek, which in our notes we have parentheses lies, which I don't know why we have
Oh,
lies.
she knows he spent the night with Mackenzie based on the shadow app because she was watching his text.
Derek.
But Derek is, I got stuck at work. I stayed out here, and she's, yeah, fuck you, buddy. I know what you were doing, Mackenzie.
So after reading his lies in text, she calls Sal and tells him she wants to meet the fixer. She is ready. Let's do this. Let's meet this guy. She ends up meeting the fixer at a diner. His name's Julian. She texts Sal.
Which, can I just say,
What?
it is the most.
Non-fixer name?
Yes. I was like, of course his name's fucking Julian, and he probably owns an apple orchard or some bullshit. Like, anyways, carry on.
What would have been a better fixer name?
I don't know.
Reginald.
Jason.
Reginald would have been worse.
Reginald would have. I imagine a very old man as Reginald coming in with a captain's hat.
Reginald.
Reginald.
Reginald, though, chap. I'm ready to shank someone. That's the worst.
Mop the bows.
Hello, mate. They don't go into too much detail
Little
about
sweet baby Julian is
about
there.
Julian.
And he's
They
ready, to the murder.
So they don't talk about his looks. However, she does meet Julian, and she texts Sal kind of talking about her doubts about hiring him. But Sal tells her, stay focused. He knows him from a previous life.
Because he still thinks she's gonna kill Derek.
Huh?
Well, even Julian tells Marin she could always just divorce Derek.
Yes.
Yeah, like-
Because he thinks that she's wanting to kill her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what Sal told him.
Yes. She hires him. But the job is going to be $250,000 and it's non-refundable, which she doesn't even blink an eye at. She's just like, all right. tell her to wire this money to his charity as a cover-up to cover the money that she's paying. Right. Julian tells Marin she could always divorce Derek. Marin clarifies at this point that it's Mackenzie she wants to kill. Then we find Mackenzie is very involved with her socials and portrays a life of luxury. She's posting daily, I think they say, and it's constant, but she never posts a picture of Derek.
Because he won't let her.
He won't let her. If you go through, she never has any pictures with him, but she always posts some kind of hashtag that says...
Or her feet on his dashboard.
Yes.
And
or like his hand.
on her thigh or some shit.
Yes.
And I think even Marin looking at all of her Instagram posts is like, I know that hand. I know that car.
Yeah.
Which, would I know his hand if I saw it in a picture?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you would.
You would.
You would, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
I watched a YouTube video where these chicks had to identify their husbands' faces with their blindfolds on, and they just had to like touch. Would I be able to do that? Yeah, I think I could.
My husband has a significant mole on the side of his head. Yes, I would.
But I feel like doing that as a game show is different if you're hunting for it.
Hunter killer.
Well, also, she knows Mackenzie is the one, right? So when she finds her and sees it, she's like, yeah, I know all that.
Instant, I know that's my husband's body
that's
parts.
true.
I think if it was just random pictures of hands that you were going through one day, you would
But
be
you
like,
had-
"Wait a
you had
second,
to
is
have-
that my husband?"
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have. I feel like it wouldn't have. If that's how she found out her husband was cheating, that wouldn't made sense. How did you know? Because of a hand? If it was a hand and.
But if there was like some kind of tie,
I
to
don't know,
them.
ladies.
yeah, what made her look? Yeah,
We need to upload pictures of hands and see if we can identify our husband's ones.
I think
in
if
our
we
Google
knew our
Drive.
husband was in there, we would find it.
Yeah.
If I didn't know my husband's hands were in there, I think it would be harder to find or to point out.
She usually dates married men. We find out at this point that she usually dates married men, and she's anxious about Derek and messages her ex, JR. Did we learn his name is JR at this point?
We know there is a man that she
Mackenzie.
texts names JR.
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie.
Oh, I
detects
didn't
is
remember
JR.
that piece of it.
That's
Well, yeah,
a
because we
huge
don't
piece.
know
I know.
who JR is.
We don't know who
We
he
know-
is, but
well,
I
we
didn't
know.
remember that. Anyways, she never understood why she and JR weren't together, which
sorry.
is Mackenzie you're talking about.
Yes.
The
Mackenzie,
chumpy.
yes.
Mackenzie never understood why her and JR weren't. So then after a night together, Derek leaves Mackenzie $5,000 on the dresser, which I was assuming at this point because he was going to try to leave her. And that was his payment for it. She tells him
is
she
wild.
loves him and he agrees to take her back. Typical tactic.
The fact that she makes a living, well, not a full living, but a decent living
Like a sugar baby.
off
Yeah.
of the breakup, though.
Yeah, that's what she lives on is the breakup because
But
she
like,
talks
yeah,
about
that's-
the
it's
It's
others.
almost like he knows, not that he knows that I'm going to give her $5,000 and that'll make this better. That's crazy. The
No,
others,
it's to not tell their wives. I'm going to pay you off so you don't tell my wife.
And she works in a coffee shop.
crazy.
$5,000 at one time
Is a lot.
is a lot for her.
It's a lot for me.
someone gave me $5,000, I'd be very thankful. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, thank you. I'll take
Please give me $5,000 again. That would be fabulous.
that. But at this point, she knows $5,000's not enough.
When talking to Sal, Marin finds Sal's mother has been sick and he's going home to help her. Marin has always liked his mom, Lorna. She does talk about how she used to visit Lorna a lot back in the day. She hasn't been there to see her in a long time, so it surprises her to find out that she's sick. Then years prior, Sal and Marin attend his dad's 50th birthday party. A fight occurred and Sal accidentally pushed his dad off the balcony to his death.
Air quotes accidentally.
Yeah. Marin covered for him.
Mackenzie has started to fall in love with Derek.
Yes, at this point, she is.
She makes a comment that she wasn't supposed to fall for him. She's going to fuck up the entire plan. I left a comment at that point. This is what, chapter 11 maybe? She says, I said, oh man, does she have something to do with the kids? What's her plan? So already I feel like there's some sort of alluding to a bigger piece. She's not just some hooer.
Yeah, we do learn she's starting to fall for him. She does, her roommate, I forget what her roommate's name is. We threw out the chumpies, but she talks to her roommate about it. Her roommate used to do the same thing. Used to date married men and get money for it, whatever. But she got wifed up and moved on from the life. Mackenzie felt like this was still the life for her, so she kept doing it. After all of this, we end this chumpy with Marin deletes the shadow app. He calls the PI, calls off the investigation
Of Derek.
of Derek. She tells him, forget it, no more.
Well, also, she doesn't want it to come out that
She hired somebody to kill
yeah,
Mackenzie.
because she's about to
Yes.
take care of Mackenzie. So I don't need the shadow app anymore.
Yes.
I need to wipe my hands.
And I need the PI as far away from this as possible.
Right.
Yes. It just brings me to a question of the revenge piece of this whole thing. Is it far-fetched that she's hiring somebody to kill Mackenzie? Would you hire somebody to kill their...
Mistress?
No, I would not.
Did you
I
think
mean,
about it?
I might. I mean, if I had an extra $250,000, like, why get my hands dirty?
Would you do it it for 5,000.
Yes, 5,000 is not a problem. I don't know. I don't think that would be my
My go-to would not be
Go-to.
to kill the mistress.
No, it would not.
I think my go-to
It would
thought
be
would be
to chop
to
off a
do it.
dick and then like a throw down. I don't know what else.
Throw
I think it
hands.
depends.
Yeah.
If I walked in on it happening in my house, I might go after her
Ooh,
because
judo chopper.
It would be a reaction at that point. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be a planned
well,
out.
and you know a woman lives there. If I walked into my own house and saw a mistress with my husband, you know I live there. My
Oh,
shit's
right.
everywhere.
Yes.
My
yeah.
You
pictures are
deserved
on
your
the
ass
wall.
beating.
But that's
Both
not
of y'all
happened.
gonna
That's
get your
never
ass beat
happened.
at the same
She's never
goddamn
been to
time.
the house.
No.
No.
Yeah, she's never been to the house.
Not yet.
No.
Yeah, she's never been to the house at this point. He's never asked her to come over to the house.
No, they always go to
Purposefully.
hotels.
Yeah.
He keeps her separated.
Yes, what you do with your mistress. I don't know. Some people might bring their mistress to their house.
They do,
but-
for sure they do.
So we end that chumpy with Marin tells the PI no longer to investigate her husband.
Yeah, strictly Sebastian.
Now we are on to part 2, chapters 15 through 20.
Our next chapter chunk, or our chumpy,
Chapter summary.
our chapter chunk summary is going to be chapters 15 through 20, and it starts with part 2. Mackenzie spends more time on social media. I think that's where she actually gets a lot of her money from, is she is kind of an influencer on social media. She's posting stuff all the time,
I think she wants to be. She's trying to be.
but she does make money off of it. But I don't know if she's making buku dollars by any means, but she's spending more time on social media. We find out that she actually, really quick, in chapter 15, they say that the reward for any information leading to finding their son was $1 million. That is absurd.
Because they were rich folk.
Yeah, but even rich folk, just knowing what I know about a lot of, not to say that it's impossible or not going to happen, but there is.
If I had $1 million
I looked
for
it
my
up.
son, I would pay it.
If I had $1 million to throw away, maybe. But
I don't even think if I had $1 million
Most
to throw
of the time.
away. Like if
Yeah.
you were giving me info and I find my child, I'm pulling. I'm
7
selling
mortgages.
stocks. I'm doing. Yeah, I'm doing things.
yes, a lot of times when you set those high rewards, you're just getting false leads. People are just trying to give money or give you information so that way you get.
But you're only
But
paying
you
that out
actually
to
get
something
money.
that leads to you finding
exactly.
your child.
Yes, but still, there's supposed to be a line that this is kind of where we will set it because, one, it's a realistic amount. Even the most, I looked it up, typical rewards of this magnitude are combined efforts, and most of the time still do not reach $1 million. It's even rare to hear a $100,000 reward, so this is just absurd. I just didn't feel like it was believable. Yeah, okay, you might have a shit ton of money. Even if I had a shit ton of money, or not even, like right now, yes, I would potentially give $1 million to have my son back, but I cannot give $1 million to give my son back. Maybe she can, but I don't think that, I think once you get to a certain threshold, you're going to get the same result if you were giving away $500,000.
That's true.
I see what you're saying. But I think maybe the point is that she's just trying to, Jennifer, the author, right, is trying to give some realistic or relatable.
Like their desperation.
Yes.
Because I think it said too, I don't remember where, but they upped it. And I think they upped it to that and it comes out in the next Chumpy.
I just felt like that. It felt like a number that we were just throwing out there to try to allude
them.
of this is how rich they were. And I just felt like it felt unrealistic.
Maybe.
I could see that.
That was
didn't
the
even
only
think
part
about
where I
it.
was like, this
I
is
didn't
a
either.
story.
$1
Take
million.
all my money. Find my
Yeah.
baby.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how I took
Give me
it.
my
Like
child.
$250,000 to kill someone, I feel like that sounds realistic. I don't know enough about that, but yeah, that sounds right.
I feel like that's low. I expected murder to
no,
cost
there's
more.
stories
No,
where
I
people. There's stories where people are like $25,000. Yeah, I'll go kill him.
Yeah. I was because of them being affluent in the community, I could see 250 being the price.
Okay, so Mackenzie spends most of her time on social media, but we also find out that she worked at a food truck in Pike's Place when Sebastian went missing, which was red flags for me.
It was the food truck that Derek
he
was
was
at.
in line
He was
waiting
at,
at.
yeah.
Yes. When he
He-
got the call to go.
He had
and-
gone to that food truck
Yes.
regularly. She knew him.
And then he walks into the Green Bean where she worked currently, and she recognized him and started flirting with him. She knew him from the fact that there was $1 million reward for her son. She remembered him at the
And there was news coverage for them because they
crazy,
were
of high status. Yeah, she got a ton. I believe too. Marin used her status to get all of that, and that I feel is very believable.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I would
For
do
sure,
it.
I would use every resource I could. Mackenzie reflects on her relationship with JR, and JR knows about Derek and tells Mackenzie that he is in pain and his marriage won't last. Mackenzie's reaching out and telling her JR was kind of the one that introduced her to doing this this to these guys.
Right, he's been,
you can get more for that.
Yeah, he's been pushing her to date these married guys and to take them for what they're worth at the end of the day.
Yeah, telling her, nope, you could probably get more for that. Well, then he mentions, I know who Derek is, and I'm pretty sure his marriage isn't going to last. Derek calls Mackenzie to end the affair and tells her not to contact him. So Derek calls after she told him I loved him. Okay, he's like, okay, I'll come back. And then he's like, no, we need to end it. Don't contact me anymore. Mackenzie falls into this spiral. She's alone. She feels like someone is following her and calls JR. He tells her he's now in a relationship and can't see her. Mackenzie's calling JR and talking to him because still she's obviously in love with JR too. She has ties to JR. She wants to be with JR. JR has never given her any, I think they've been more of a booty call. And so now she calls him. She's, oh my gosh, I think I'm being followed. And JR, okay, look, cool. Don't worry about it. You're fine. And I'm in a relationship, so I can't come and see you.
Yeah. She makes a comment, why can't JR and I be together?
Yeah. Yeah. And she just has assumed all this time that it's because JR doesn't want a relationship. So now Derek is broken up with her, who she feels like she's fallen in love with. And JR's, well, I'm in a relationship, so no, I can't come see you. You can't be my booty call kind of thing anymore. So now she's really spiraling. She's scrolling through Marin's Instagram and sees that Derek and they've been in BC for the weekend, celebrating their anniversary. So she's obviously in the spiral. Mackenzie gets drunk and she decides to take a cab to Derek's house because apparently she had gone there once before, saw him put in the code.
Oh, right. They take a taxi or his personal driver or something drives them there and he's like, get down.
Yeah.
And he walks up and he's, don't look. And she watches him from the car and, I know the code now.
Which is
fucking creepy.
the best vision anybody could ever have.
Well, also I make a note. So she takes his cab, she goes to Derek's house and she breaks in by using that code.
Yeah.
But I have a code. Do you guys have codes on your door?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Do you get a notification? I get a notification anytime someone opens that door.
Maybe the notification went to Derek's phone, not Marin's.
Well, both my husband and I get a notification.
I don't get a notification,
not.
but I do have a Ring doorbell. So I will get motion detection at my front door.
I get the Ring doorbell detective. I get a notification from the lock. What code was used on the lock?
Oh.
Then she would have thought it was Derek, but obviously not
she's
realistic.
Not. It's supposed to be a BC with Derek. So if she got a code that's like Derek opened the door, and like you said, you don't have that. So maybe they don't. So maybe it's a potential. She could totally do it.
Yeah.
But mine sends me a code and says Derek opened the door. But when I was reading it, I was like, there's no way I would even attempt that because maybe she potentially just doesn't know.
I didn't even know that was an option.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there you go.
And what is she using binoculars to see the freaking code when he punches it in? Because come on now.
She's got the eyes of a falcon. Okay.
Must.
She's 24. Okay. Mackenzie doesn't have any kind of degenerative diseases in her eyes.
Maybe she's had LASIK and has great eyesight now.
Exactly. Mackenzie's seeing 20/30. Okay. She's got great vision.
She must, because she can see that from the car.
She gets into the house. She breaks in. She starts wandering around the house, just checking things out. She's stopping to take photos in Marin's closet. So she goes into Marin's closet. She's like putting on Marin's clothes and dresses. And her shoes. And she's taking photos and posting them online.
Mm-hmm. I think she moves the purse too so that it's in the photo because Marin has luxury branded items. And so she's taking photos with her feet in the purse.
Her Louboutins.
Yeah.
The alarm goes off. She's, oh shit, they have an alarm. Derek and Marin's cell phones are ringing in Canada because the alarm company is notifying the police she's got to get out of there before. So she runs out quick. She punches in the same code as she did for the front door, 1120. The keypad flashes red. Shit. Thank God it was a terrible idea to do this drunk. So she's drunk. She's now panicking because she's in the house. The alarm's going off. She does eventually, I think she eventually figures out the password, right? So I guess this is before. She's doing the password and then she goes into the closet and tries on the clothes and does all the things.
She wanders around. I think she even looks into Sebastian's room, but doesn't go in. Mm-hmm. So this is not a space I should be in.
Oh, yeah.
At least she had that sense of moral compass.
Yeah. She talks about how she didn't have anything growing up. So this house is crazy. There's so much. That's when she goes into the closet. She's trying on all these luxury brands. She imagines sleeping in the bed with Derek and living a life with Derek in the house. If Marin wasn't there, this is probably how it would be and how I would probably wake up later and he would bring me coffee. And
why are we reading all these books with these crazy psychopaths? Envisioning their lives with these men.
That's how mistresses do. This is why you stay away from the hoes.
That's how the biddies do.
No, you don't blame our biddy committee. The biddies don't do that.
Speaking of biddy company, we need to talk about what you guys want to be called, but we'll save that for another podcast.
For now, it's itty bitty.
We're calling you the itty bitty litty committees. So if you don't like it, you need to speak up now. Maybe we'll host a poll.
Just a litty committee. You could be itty bitties, litty bitties.
Litty bitties. You got to be litty something.
Yeah,
Lit.
litty.
Yeah, I like litty. Even if you just want to be litties.
Oh, like ladies?
What up, my liddies?
Or titties? Either way.
Both.
Shake your litties.
Shake your liddies. To wrap up this chumpy, Mackenzie at the end of chapter 20, end of part 2, actually, because we do have a part 3 and 4. Mackenzie runs into Julian, which I had to go back and look up what? Julian? I know Julian. Julian was the fixer. She runs into Julian.
Man who runs the apple farm.
She runs into Julian. She knows him. They greet each other. They talk about JR.
And she's walking back to her apartment. And that's when she feels like because she's been feeling like she's being followed this whole chumpy. Mm-hmm. And then she realizes, oh, I'm not being followed. It's just Julian. Hey, Julian.
Yes. And so she's
Fancy
like,
seeing you here.
Yes. But goddamn it feels like someone is following her. Her skin feels like it's crawling from an unwanted visual intrusion. She starts walking away faster this time. A voice floats out in the dark. Hey, who's there? Kinsey says. She hates the way her voice sounds, high-pitched, frightened. Hello. And it's Julian. She's like, oh, what are you doing here? Looking for you. They hadn't seen each other in a year. Mackenzie asks, is JR with you? Julia doesn't answer. Instead, he smiles. The last thing she remembers is his gloved fist connecting with her jaw, a hard pop before her knees buckle for real, and everything goes black. And that's how part 2 ends.
Yes. We know that Julian knows JR. She knows JR and Julian. There's all a connection there.
And if
is
he had
JR?
just walked up and shanked her, because that's what Marin was paying her to do, it wouldn't have been suspicious. But because she turned around, she was like, oh, hey, Julian. And he was like, bah, bah, bah.
He's not going to kill her. Like, the goal was never to kill her.
$250,000 says that is the goal.
No. You know what? Excellent segue into our part 3
But
and
that
4.
is, as far as we know right now, that is the goal.
Yes.
$250,000 says that's the
She
goal.
gonna die.
But she does cancel it. Doesn't she cancel it? Mackenzie cancels it.
We'll get there.
I think we already did.
Mackenzie doesn't cancel it.
No, I'm sorry. Marin
Marin.
cancels the hit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We jump into part 3. Marin and Derek are posting about their time in British Columbia. They're driving home together. He's throwing his hand on her thigh. And she's, I don't know what changed his mind, but I'm so glad we're back together and we're celebrating our anniversary. It was their anniversary that they went up to celebrate.
Yeah.
Marin gets a call from the support group, and the head of the support group, Francis, her son was found dead in a crack house.
Yeah.
She
'Cause
realizes
he wasn't kidnapped. He was.
No, he ran away.
Yeah.
We find that he ran away, and he actually hasn't been missing. He's just been living his best drug life all these years he's been gone. But she realizes that Thomas, Francis's son, is Mackenzie's age. He's 24, and I don't want to kill someone's child. I don't want to cause the funeral and the hurt that I know about. I don't want to do that to somebody else. So she wants to call off the job. So she texts Sal and tells him to call Julian off. Marin looks on the dark web again for pictures of Sebastian. She starts going into her cycle. And then Castro calls, the PI, about Mackenzie. And she's, hey, I've still been watching her and she's gone missing. Do you have the text on the Shadow app? Because now she's starting to suspect that maybe Derek has something to do with Mackenzie going missing.
Yes, because I think she mentions 2 people connected to Derek are now missing. And that's why she's pointing the finger at him.
Because Sebastian and Mackenzie are now missing. Sal and Marin talk about their sexual encounter, and Marin tells Sal, it's a one-time thing, and I'm staying with Derek. I'm sorry, but this is it. I'm working things out with my husband. We're going to be peachy keen. And she sees the Shadow app. She downloads it again, and she sees that Derek received a ransom text from Mackenzie asking for $250,000. And the sender tells Derek in his message, if you don't want the same thing to happen to Mackenzie as it did to Sebastian, you will pay the money.
And at this point, when she re-downloads the Shadow app, she downloads everything. Every text, every message that comes through. So now her phone's blowing up because she's getting texts from clients, his emails. She's getting the whole thing.
Then Castro shows up at the house and tells Marin that Mackenzie and Sal have been friends for years. Sal is JR. Julian took Mackenzie to Sal's family farmhouse.
Okay, wait. When that reveal happened, it happened just like how it happened right now. Because I was like, wait, what?
It did, and it took me a second.
Like, I needed to know, like, how,
Well, we find
what
out
does this mean?
that Mackenzie was from the same town as Sal.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how it starts to connect it.
And that's how Castro, because they're from a
How
small
she ties it together, yeah.
town, and they find out they are one and the same. And it does. It just kind of plops out. Oh, that's right. Because he was named after his dad, so he's always been a junior.
So they call him JR, but his name is Sal.
Exactly.
So when we're talking about Sal and Marin, we're also talking about the same person that is JR and a Mackenzie.
Yep, spoiler.
And JR/Sal knew Julian.
Julian took Mackenzie to the farmhouse, right? Mackenzie realizes that Sal took Sebastian and that Marin is the woman that Sal has been in love with for years.
Yeah.
It's all coming together.
Like, she's piecing it together, and she's like, well, how the fuck am I going to get out of here?
Yeah.
Like, she starts to freak out. Marin confronts Derek because she has the text asking, why would they come for you for the ransom? And what the fuck is he talking about Sebastian?
And why did you never tell me that you were...
Exactly. They never received anything.
Because everyone was on lookout. Everyone was,
Yeah.
like, at that time, police were, like, involved heavily. And if there was any ransom, it was supposed to be known. And
Exactly. So she confronts Derek. Derek reveals that a month after Sebastian disappeared, someone contacted him for ransom. Derek took it on himself. He didn't tell Marin. He didn't tell police. He followed the instructions to a T. He took the money they were asking for, but Sebastian wasn't there. And then he received an email saying, you fucked up, you messed up, Sebastian's dead. And he's blamed himself ever since, which is why he didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to go to the support group because he felt he was the reason his son was dead.
Well, and he didn't want to go. In that moment, he realizes, I'm going to this support group for my son who I already know is dead.
yeah, in hopes that maybe he's going to come back because we don't know anything, but I already know.
Right.
Yeah. So Sal, Mackenzie, and Lorna, who is Sal's mother, are having dinner. When Sal starts to bust out, like he starts getting angry and kind of chaotic, he starts yelling about Julian because Julian hasn't called. He's got the money. They were all in cahoots together to get the money. Like, he's not answering my phone calls. He's running off with the money. Then he hears sirens in the distance. Sal goes to run off to find his gun. And Lorna kind of pops open her robe and shows Mackenzie, like, got the piece right here, bitch. Go to the cellar. Run. Go hide in the cellar. And when she gets down into the cellar, she finds Sebastian alone.
Oh, I was so happy to find that.
This part made me cry because he looks at her and he's like, are you my mom?
I know. He doesn't remember.
He doesn't know his mom.
That whole part. Oh, okay. I had no feelings up until that one moment when I was... picturing this poor boy in this cellar in his pajamas.
Potentially almost 6 years old now.
He had been down there for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And
I have
was so
all
lonely.
my notes in here are just crying emojis. And then my last note, he says, Grandma Lorna says my mommy is coming. I wrote, fuck this book. I was a hot mess this last part of it.
It does come out. Lorna she wasn't in agreement with what Sal was doing, but she was
taking care of Sebastian.
She was helping keep him
alive.
Yeah. And I think Sal obviously kept Marin away, but I think if Marin would have gone there when she was holding on to Sebastian, I think she would have told her or alluded to her being there.
Why I think Sal kept her from going there.
Right.
Because she tried to go and he was like, no, don't go.
Yeah, my mom hates you because you won't love me. You can't come to the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, bitch.
Which Mackenzie talks about how Lorna compares her to Marin all the time.
Yes.
At one point in the book. And she doesn't like that because she likes Sal also.
Right. Right.
Anyways.
So Castro...
Happy stuff. They find him, kind of.
Mackenzie finds him.
Yeah.
So Castro shows up at the farmhouse with the FBI because Marin finally breaks down and she's like, okay, I got to tell you what I did. But I need your help.
By the way, I tried to kill someone.
Yeah. We're just going to ignore that part. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to call it off.
I did call it off. So let's just remember that I'm a good person.
Yeah. So Marin and Derek, FBI, Castro all arrive at the farmhouse. There is a scuffle with the gun and Lorna gets shot.
Yeah.
Marin is like talking to Sal on the phone.
I think he talks
think
about
he
not
kills
wanting to go
himself.
back to jail.
He says, "You alive?" She says. He stops moving and looks out his window and into hers. She can barely see his face. "For now," he says with a dark laugh. "Why, Sal?" She asks in a voice. "It was never supposed to be like this, Mary, swear." Sal's voice is shaking. "I needed the money. The plan was to keep Sebastian for a day, maybe two, until Derek paid the ransom. But the cops and the FBI were crawling all over the fucking place, so I had no choice but to lay low. I brought him here so my mom could take care of him. I told her Derek was abusive just like Dad and that he needed to keep Sebastian safe. She believed me. We decided, you and Julian? Yeah, we decided to wait until it all died down, which it did after a month. We sent Derek the ransom demand after you got out of the hospital. And then Julian talked to Derek. I heard him shouting and Sebastian was crying and I got mad. Your husband has always been such a self-entitled prick and I guess I wanted to hurt him." Hung up the phone. A few minutes later, I told Derek his son was dead. "I love you, Marin," he says, and the phone disconnects. She hears the pop and sees the spark of the muzzle, but can only imagine the sound of Sal's body when it drops to the floor. So Sal killed himself.
FBI races downstairs and they rescue Mackenzie and Sebastian. Then a month later, Marin visits Mackenzie at her job and gives her $250,000 and tells her, "This is the money I was going to spend on murdering you. So it's yours."
So they have essentially spent $750,000 over the course of this entire story.
Yeah.
$250 they pay for Sebastian. $250
time.
she pays to kill Mackenzie, non-refundable, and then $250 she gives Mackenzie. It's a very expensive story.
Less than
Worth
$1 million.
it.
Yeah, I
They
was gonna say,
spent less than the
$1
ransom.
million. Yeah.
So then Marin takes Sebastian to the support group and introduces him to her friends. And that's kind of the end of the book. It came full circle for her. And she thought it was going to be a selfish thing to rub it in their face because Frances had just buried her son that was missing. But everyone was so happy to see him.
Yeah.
And they have like a little bit of a party for him, a welcome home party for him.
And they say he's going to therapy, obviously, because he spent a year and a half in captivity.
But he's actually pretty healthy otherwise. Like he's been missing for 15 months, but
Lorna did it, man.
Yeah,
she kept
took
him,
care of him
in good health.
Yes. And so.
And in good spirits from what I'm gathering. I mean, I didn't imagine him coming out and being super traumatized.
But he has to learn who his mom and dad are again.
Yeah, and they do decide to stick together. Even through all the things, they decide to stay together for Sebastian.
Yeah, I
Bash.
think she makes the comment that they don't know where their marriage is going, but they're going to attempt to make it work.
Yes.
They're going to forgive and move on.
And that is the sweet, sweet ending.
I don't know how sweet it is, but
All right.
That's the ending.
Yeah.
that's the
Little
end.
Secrets. And now you've heard it. That's Little Secrets. So now you either haven't read it, but you heard us talk about it. Read it for yourself. Join us on all of our socials, Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, and grab the questions. And next week we'll be talking about Little Secrets and pulling from your guys' comments. And
Yes, join the discussion.
join our Liddy community.
So we gotta rate it.
Bitty Liddy
Community.
community.
We have to rate our book.
Yes, we do. You can go first.
Okay, wait. Tell me the
Yeah. Okay. So book review, 1 shot is I'm not coming back for more. 2 shots, it's good enough for another, but not worth the hangover. And 3 shots is it got me up. The
Okay.
only time we bleep out any curse words.
serious. I haven't decided. Rachel, you go first.
I thought about this when I finished the book. I thought about it while I was writing the Chumpies, and then I thought about it driving here this morning. I'm going to give it 2 shots because I would not want to read a sequel. Felt like there was also, it almost felt rushed, a lot of the connections that were made. That JR and Sal are the same person. That part was rushed. It ended. There was no, Sal shot himself. There wasn't I wasn't expecting a happy ending, but it didn't seem there was closure on all the different pieces.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a reflection of life. You're never going to have closure. But yeah, it was 2 shots. I thought it was a good book. It definitely gave me super anxiety. I'm glad I finished it because I
Yeah.
thought about not doing that.
So that's what I was going to say. So like there are different parts of the book. When I first started reading this book, I was like 1 shot. I don't even want to finish it. I can't get through it. But on the other hand, it's written to be that.
Yeah.
So really it's doing what's setting out to accomplish.
Doing the damn thing.
Yeah. So I mean, there were parts of it where if I think about it from just a literature perspective, then it's really well written. I think that it's doing all the things that it wanted to do, that Jennifer set out to do, give you that anxiety, make you feel all these ways, tell you about the horrible people in the world. It did that. Did it do what it was supposed to do? Yes. So 3 shots, but also I really struggled through it. And at times I would have rated it 1 shot. So I think overall I'm going to agree with you. 2 shots.
The pressure of a score.
I know.
It's your opinion.
I know I'm trying to decide between a 2 and a 3 because I think in general it was good. Like you said, yes, well written, it gave you all the things. I think that it had all of the emotions. You had anxiety, you felt the chaos, you felt the anger and the revenge that she wanted to go for. So you felt it all. I just personally wasn't happy with the end. I understand why they rushed all the connections because I feel like that wasn't the main focus of the story. Really, it was about Sebastian and finding him, right? So she kind of rushed through it so we can get to finding Sebastian is kind of how I felt about it.
But I feel like that was a major plot point. That JR and Sal are the same person.
Yes, but you learn that. We don't have to dwell on it. We just learn that it's the same person and now he's a shitty guy and he stole Sebastian. I felt,
Yeah, let's just gloss over that.
Glaze over.
Her best friend, also ex, like I said, worst ex ever, kidnapped her child and wasn't giving him back.
Was he Santa?
I think Julian was Santa.
Yeah.
Why would
It was one of the
Sebastian
two of
go
them.
with him?
Because Sal called to distract her because he was Santa.
Yes.
That's why Sebastian went with him.
He probably told him he was going to get him more lollipops.
He did
And
give
he had
him a
that.
lollipop.
He knew about the lollipop because he knew Sebastian's favorite lollipop.
Yes.
That's true. Okay.
So because the ending didn't do it for me, I'm going to say 2 shots.
Okay.
However,
we're all at a 2 shot.
I am interested in reading more of Jennifer's books.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to make. 2 shots, but we do recommend it. And
2 shots isn't a bad score.
I don't feel like any of our scores are really that bad.
I'm sure we'll get to a point where we don't even.
We're like 0
We're
shots.
sober today
Our cocktail this time is water.
because the book sucked. There's no book hangover, so I wouldn't give it 3 shots.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly. So there it
we're
is,
all on
people.
2 shots. We recommend you reading it. We recommend it is a well-written book, especially if you like psychological thrillers. It is definitely a psychological thriller. So read it and then go answer our book prompts.
Do all the prompts.
At Lit on the Rocks Pod. Give us like and follow, subscribe, all the things.
Go to all of our socials.
Go to all of our
Look
socials.
at us.
Yes. Rate our podcast because you love it. If you don't like it, keep moving on.
You shouldn't have gotten here if you didn't like
Yeah,
it. If you
right.
sat here for over an hour on something you did not like, shame on you. Get a
Yes.
hobby.
All right. Well,
Thanks
we'll see
for
you next
listening.
week.
Yeah. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Toodles.
Peace out.